It is Christmas break. The company I have worked for all these years is a small development company that does hardware. They created a very, very fast processor, and they stuck it on a board, and they sold it to the government mostly. Then right as that was starting to dry out, they call it DSP, digital signal processing. Right as that field dried up, because normal everyday computers were actually starting to catch up to what this company had developed 20 years ago. They invented a flash drive that is purpose-built for the flash. Now, what a lot of companies do is they try to take flash memory, like it's in your thumb drive, and wrap a little bit of intelligence around it, stick it into what looks like a hard drive case, and then stick it into a computer. There's a lot of problems with this. Number one, the serial type input and output that spinning drives were so good at, because that's how they read and wrote. A spinning drive is basically a record player. I hate to tell you this, but it's basically a record player, but instead of using grooves, it uses magnetic signals. It uses a magnetic trace on a piece of metal to remember things. So that it literally has to spin past that point. The needle or read head on the drive has to go past that place on the record or platter. I mean, this is the type of technology that we're using. That's a spinning drive. So to get past this to a solid state disk, because solid state means no moving parts, to go to a solid state disk, the idea of using a straight serial throughput method in order to communicate back and forth from the drive to the computer is kind of ridiculous. So what this company did that I had worked for all this time did was say, well, hell with that. We're actually going to just create a card that has the flash memory on it. We're going to stick it in the computer, and we're going to read to it the way it should be read from and written to, by using the entire bandwidth of the board, of the motherboard. It basically uses the same slot that a video card uses to transmit data back and forth. Because remember, video cards have to transmit quite a bit of data all at once, and in order to generate the graphics, there's a lot of data that moves back and forth, and so you have a nice big slot that has a lot of channels or a lot of lanes to move data back and forth instead of just a couple. And that's what this company took advantage of. They said, okay, we're going to use a slot similar to that. We're going to use all these different channels, all these different lanes of data transfer, and we're going to speed up input and output. That's what they did. So they purpose-built a card with the flash data on it to take advantage of what the computer already has in it to make it do something it was already doing a lot faster and a lot more reliable. Well, we got bought out by a big company. So now I'm going back through the big company woes. I went from a big company down to the small company. I was there down at the smaller company for 6 years, a little over 6 years, and I was at the big company before that almost 10 years. So I'm hoping I'm at this other big company, till I retire. That would be nice. It's a great company. I don't know, I suppose if you watch the videos close enough, you'll figure out which company it is. I'm not going to come out and say it. One problem is the little company actually had really good health care coverage, and so I'm going to PPO, which is, it's okay. It's better than nothing, that's for sure. But I'm still fed up with the whole concept of your employer being your healthcare provider. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I would rather it be the government than be my employer, to be honest. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever. I don't like our current president because he just doesn't seem effective. But the one thing I hope comes out of all this is socialized medicine. Anybody who knows me is going to think I'm nuts, or you think that I'm doing a 180 because everything else I'm conservative on except medicine. I think medicine should be socialized, and pretty much everything else should be left to the individual. It's kind of funny how that works. But that's the way I feel, and I don't feel conflicted with that. To me, that makes sense. So I don't know. Whatever. What do you take it the way you take it? And if you have a comment, let me know in the comments. That's what the comment section is for. So one side effect of this whole transition from one company to another, This is basically the last week that we have of the small company. This is the week between Christmas and New Year's. Traditionally, the small company has taken that week off for the entire company. They've closed down the company for that entire week. And this is the last year I get this week off free. It's basically a free paid week. It's not part of your vacation. It's been amazing. New company, I'm going to the big company. This is their biggest week of the year. Is the last week of the year. This is the week of the year that they absolutely cram everything in to be done.
My chariot awaits.